It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I want to thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the podcast, as I am just very thankful and grateful for each and every one of you. And you are all in for a very special show today, as I have with me a returning diva, Chavez, and her and I are going to chat about life coaching available worldwide. Oh my, is this going to be interesting? Ellie, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me again. This is fun to be on. My name is Ellie Chavez, and last time I was on, we were talking about how I've really been stepping into doing coaching after going through my own process. So I was just telling you a bit before that I've just settled into Colorado. So I've been there and focusing in on some of my martial arts training and then coaching and kind of connecting with people and sharing these tools that I found to be really supportive and powerful and learning from others at the same time. And yeah, just beautiful, continuing to expand and grow.
Oh, how exciting, and settling into Colorado and all the beauty that surrounds you in that state, because it is just gorgeous there. So, just so excited for you. Well, as we start to chat about the life coaching that is available around the world, how would you like to start sharing with our listeners? Would you like to start sharing the life coaching that you're involved in? Or what is the way you would like to start with, Ellie?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so what's exciting is last time we talked, I was just starting a 4-month coaching container just with me, and it ended up being an all-women's group, which I loved, kind of what I secretly wanted. But my coach, Halia Chaya, who I got certified as a coach through her academy, she, as always, is such a visionary and started a new project that she invited me to be part of called Beyond Coaching. And it links in perfectly with the coaching container I was holding, because that's also the course that she helped create. And she essentially wants to have us, so like all the coaches that she kind of graduated from her academy, be part of this online community. And obviously, we talked last time again about the benefits of things being online is it's accessible to anyone, anywhere in the world who has access to the internet. And for all the pros of in-person, which I love and I miss, and I'm leaning into doing more of those. There is something really beautiful about being able to use technology in a really beautiful, powerful way, because we all know that can be used differently, obviously. And with Beyond Coaching, its mission is pretty much to make integrated transformational coaching and facilitation available to as many people possible worldwide. So it's creating this online community where there'll be free or by donation coaching sessions almost every day of the week. And so anyone who's in need of something, who needs someone as a coach, either because they don't have their own therapist, because coaching can be expensive and it's valuable. It's a valuable skill. So I think it's important that coaches are, compensated appropriately. And also it's so valuable that our whole group really feels that we want people to have access to a coach when they're going through different things. They need tools that they may not have. And so there's going to be these free or by donation coaching sessions, and it's free to be in the community and just connect with people. And then within that, there'll be a classroom section, and there's like different programs and workshops and things that you can choose to pay to be a part of. But the main mission is to get as many people into this community as possible so they can connect with other humans who are on this journey of self-discovery, or who are going through something really challenging, or who are in a rebirthing period and want to share and want to connect and collaborate and have access to coaching sessions with certified trained coaches. Because that's the other thing. A lot of times the amazing thing is that coaching is exploding, and that's making it more accessible. And there's definitely a range of training that's available. There's not you have to pass this test to be a coach. Anyone can kind of be a coach. So it feels really good to have a group of us who have trained together and know that we can really offer high quality, valuable, research-based tools and practices that we've experienced and used ourselves. So that's the beginning overview of that. And then the Earth Game, which is the coaching program I'm moving people to, is one of the programs offered through the community. So now it's great because I'm able to link both those things that I'm doing. It feels really exciting, really powerful to be part of it.
Oh, that sounds just amazing. How you are going to have a community where people can come to online and share, like you said, maybe some of their challenges or some of their wins even, and just be able to connect with coaches that they feel comfortable with. And, that is just an amazing, amazing community to be involved in, and all the different coaching sessions. And how is there already a way to connect to get into this community when our listeners hear this and say, well, I want to be involved in that community? How do they connect to become involved in this coaching community?
Yeah, I would love that, especially because of the value of it. And it is, the idea is we are keeping it free to access. So it almost it literally can't hurt to join. It literally can't. It can only be good. Even if you don't get involved, really just getting involved is, having this community there is great, even if you're not in a place to be super active. But the easiest way is probably through my Instagram. I have a link to Beyond Coaching in my Instagram bio. And for anyone who doesn't have Instagram, probably easiest just to email me and I can just send the link over. It just clicks into, it's hosted on the platform School, and there's a whole community built out there with all these different options. So just emailing me at Elizabeth with a Z, Elizabeth J. Chavez, CHAVEZ 30 at gmail.com, and I can just send the link. Otherwise, in my Instagram, you can check it out and see if it connects with each of you.
Oh, wow. Oh, awesome. And your Instagram link is it Elizabeth Chavez, or is it a different?
Power and Pleasure.
At Power and Pleasure. Oh, wow. Goodness.
Yeah, I love it.
That sounds exciting in itself.
That's a whole nother little rabbit hole, for sure, which we can go down. But I love those. Those are my two they're a chosen brand. Sounds intense. It's for me, how I've branded myself, but that is kind of what it is. When I was trying to think of, I don't actually remember exactly how it came through to me, that specific, those words, but what it's come to be is, when you think about the true essence, the pure energies of power and pleasure, not the way it's been distorted in today's world, where either it's this fun, sexy new thing, or it's taboo and power, boo, and money and greed and all of that, and then control gets looped in there, and then pleasure, there's it can be such a triggering word, and I feel reclaiming those words, because if you're really in a state of true pleasure and true power and understanding the variety of things that can bring that for me is kind of when my soul is most aligned with what I'm doing. And it can be simple, right? So obviously, I just mentioned, I train in combat martial arts. There's an obvious correlation there to power, right? Feeling more physically powerful, capable of fighting, defending yourself. But it could also be something like having a meditation practice. And that is powerful in and of itself. Being able to bring yourself into this state of relaxation, calmness, having the tools like parts work that I teach, that's powerful. Knowing that you have the power to integrate the different parts of you, to bring your mind and your brain into an alpha state, that is so powerful, right? And we don't associate that with power. And then the same thing with pleasure, right? Of course, I am really big on supporting the exploration of sensuality and sexuality, especially for women, and there's a more obvious link there to pleasure. But actually what's been really both pleasurable and powerful for me is honestly just tapping into the five senses and looking, like choosing to see beauty and pleasure in everything. So as you're eating food, like tasting the flavors of food and choosing food that's like really healthy and the pleasure you can taste in your mouth, listening to beautiful music, listening to birds chirping. Can you find pleasure in that? And then again, in terms of practices, think about the end of a yoga practice, right? When you've been moving and working your body and then you lay in Shavasana. That is a pleasurable feeling, just laying there in that like beautiful, peaceful space. That's definitely pleasurable to me. So those are kind of how those words have come into play for me. And yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. I loved it how you put a whole new meaning into power and pleasure. I mean, in the power of the different ways and the pleasure, like just hearing the birds chirping. And comes to my mind too is the powerful music that those birds can put out to the universe, and how it makes you feel, and just it's a pleasure, but yet it's seeing the power in their voices that are just, I mean, at our place they just resonate across the whole place, and I'm like, oh my, their voice is just so powerful from such a tiny small animal, and I love that. That's what came to my mind when you said the birds chirping, because I just loved it. And I think about the trees, the power that they are, and the beauty and pleasure that they offer. So those are some thoughts that came to mind. I thought, oh wow, I never thought of it quite that way, but I love that.
Yeah, and that's good. I love hearing that, because you're right. Like the power, like thinking about the beauty and power coming out of this tiny little creature of a bird or a tree. I mean, trees are so powerful and they're so beautiful. It's a representation of those two words. Or if you think, have you ever heard of this is so cool. Have you ever listened to crickets slow down? You can literally YouTube it, like cricket song slow down. It's literally a symphony. It's incredible. If you just slow down what they sound like, it's like you're listening to a legitimate classical music symphony. It's amazing. It's so cool.
And from such a tiny little animal. And that's what's so neat. And I love it. It is just so beautiful. And there are so many ways that you can bring in the power and pleasure. I look out and see even the flowers blooming, and they're so powerful with the beauty that comes from them, and they just started from a little seedling. And I'm like, oh, wow, how powerful and pleasure they bring into this world. So I can see why you chose that as your Instagram link. That is beautiful.
And that's perfect that you brought up the flower, because you talk about a seed, and it's actually something I use when I'm coaching. You think about a seed you look at the flower that you talked about, this beautiful flower, but it actually grew from a seed that was buried deep in the ground, in the darkness. So it's actually a really good metaphor for thinking about yourself, right? When you're going through a really dark space, you're like, oh my God, this is dark, this is bad, there's such a fear around darkness, and like feeling like there's so much pressure. But that's actually a space where seeds literally create life. They come and are rebirthed into flowers from the darkness. So that's a perfect metaphor that you're just alluding to there.
Oh, I love that. That is just beautiful. It's kind of like, as a human's going through those dark times, know that there is light. There is beauty at the end of all of this. And using the example as the seedling with the flower deep in the earth, that's a beautiful way to explain it. Oh, I love that. Well, you mentioned Earth Game, and I know we touched just a little bit on it maybe on the last show, but you said this is also part of the coaching community. And if you would like another program that's maybe involved, just to give our listeners an example of a coaching program, if Earth Game, whatever you would like to maybe give us an example of one of the coaching programs that are involved in this community, that would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'll just recap the Earth Game a bit. That's going to be actually one of the bigger programs. It's a 4-month program that you can, it's a lot of asynchronous content, a lot of videos and PDFs, reading content. You go through audios and a lot of guided sections where there's like practices to try out and then exercises for you to show up. So the way that the Earth Game is structured is there's the waking up section for each module, which is like sharing information, things for you to widen and expand your mind, what you didn't maybe know, things to consider. Then there's the cleaning up portion, which is always some kind of guided practice or meditation where it's like, let's clean yourself up. You're open to this new way of being, these new practices. Let's do some cleaning up in your body, your heart, your mind. And then there's a showing up section, which is taking action. Like, okay, how are you going to, in your outer world now, your external world, show up in a new way? Do something to show the universe, like, okay, I'm taking a positive step in this direction. Mm-hmm. And so with the Earth Game, specifically, that's actually there's 16 modules. So that those 3 sections are in each of those, and that's the most comprehensive program that we have in Beyond Coaching right now. It's incredibly transformational. It touches on topics from everything from thinking about your life as like a hero's journey and all the different little hero's journey, like Joseph Campbell, for those of you who want to look into it a bit more, like all the different stages you can be at within a hero's journey within different parts of your life, to connecting to your heart, and really not just like the organ, but like connecting to the energy of your heart. Your heart is like a mini brain, and I don't even like saying that because it almost makes it that's the word we use to describe it, but your heart actually has the power that your brain has and more, and your heart sends more messages to your brain than your brain sends to your heart, and the electromagnetic field can be measured out of your heart. And I think you had Nancy Gersi on here talking about the electromagnetic field of horses' hearts being even more powerful than humans. So hearts are incredibly powerful. So the program goes into that. It touches on parts work in terms of integrating the different parts of who you are that might have gotten fractured or shamed along the way, talking about your soul's purpose, money mindset, just covers everything. So that's the really comprehensive one. That's what I'm leading 2 different groups to at the moment. And then we'll see with the other ones. Right now there's going to be some pop-up workshops, so they'll each be themed and promoted ahead of time in the community. And then Holly's also having us all create mini courses to offer. So like the mini course, for example, that I'm putting up there, I'm actually going between 2, but I think the one I'm going to put up there is going to be called Alchemizing Anxiety. And it's just going to be a mini course of some knowledge and a lot of just mini flows and practices for people to use immediately when dealing with, obviously, anxiety and stress. That's kind of, I like the, what's the word? I'm an English teacher and I can't think of the word. It's okay. Alliteration. There it is. I love the alliteration of alchemizing anxiety, but it really is supportive for any of those, air quote, darker, negative emotions of grief or fear, guilt, depression, shame. So having a mini course that allows people to pop on and learn a little bit about what's happening in your body when you're dealing with some of these emotions, like physiologically, and then here are some tools that you can use right away. And it's short. That's not a 4-month program. That's something you can do in a few weeks and use right away. So those would be 2 examples of kind of what's being offered in Beyond Coaching.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. I love how you said under the Earth Game all the different things that you're doing on waking up and expanding your mind and cleaning up yourself and taking action. And I love the connecting to your heart energy. Oh, wow. When you connect to that heart energy, it opens so much more up for my personal experience. And I just love that. It is so beautiful. And how your heart sends so many messages to your brain. And it's so true. When you're living from your heart, it's just a beautiful world. Oh, that's incredible. That Earth Game sounds like a beautiful, beautiful course that you offer through there, and how it's going to help so many people. And the mini course on anxiety and stress, oh my, there's hardly anyone that doesn't deal with anxiety and stress sometime throughout their life.
Exactly.
So having a course.
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say it's something where a lot of people either know they're living with anxiety and stress, and some people don't even realize sometimes the level of kind of consistent stress or anxiety, like that low-level anxiety, which just builds in your body. And for me, like I think that for me, my Alchemizing Anxiety course is like almost like a foundation to doing some of the earth game in a sense, because I was going through a really intense dark space, and Alchemizing Anxiety, the framework for it, even though it's taken a very long time to come into existence, it kind of stemmed from like, what did I reach for when I was in that state of either intense high anxiety panic attacks and then the kind of rubber band effect into like a deep depression. And like, you know, it's great. There's all these tools that almost everyone is aware of tools, mind, body, wellness tools at this point, which is amazing that that's so widespread. And yet, as a mind, body, wellness instructor, I couldn't reach for more than half the tools I had, because I just couldn't even get to that state. So it was a process of like, okay, which are the practices that I was able to get to for myself, and and adding that in for people to kind of access safety, or at least managing what's happening in your body. Because some of the practices, like now, parts work is amazing. You kind of go inside and it's talking to different parts of your psyche, and it's incredible, but it involves your psyche, your mind. And when you're in such a heightened state of anxiety or deep, dark space of grief, depression, whatever it is, it's honestly almost more essential and necessary, in my opinion, to first get into your body. Know that you have the tools to just manage the intensity, whether it's excess energy, like anxiety, that like you feel like you're going to literally explode, but you're kind of paralyzed, or depression, where there's like almost like your life force is like literally draining out of you. So how can you bring that back into your body? You have to feel that you have the capacity, that foundational sense of, my body, I can feel safe here. Or I can bring at least the tiniest bit of safety or relief in before you can go into, I think, these more complex and amazingly powerful, but more complex tools and strategies.
Oh, yes. The anxiety and stress, that sounds like a great one to start with. And what is so awesome to hear you talk about, you've experienced it yourself, and you've recognized it and how you've gotten through it. And what better way to be a coach than you've personally gone through it, you've personally worked through it, and it's such a good way to be able to share your own true story to help with others. That to me is incredible too. And going within, oh my goodness, going within, the answers, I always feel the answers lie within. Just go within and become that heart-centered. So, that is beautiful. So I'm
really glad you mentioned that going within. I actually forgot to mention that, and that's actually, I think that's the most important, because yes, it's incredibly powerful to have teachers, coaches, of course, and also so much comes through when you go within. So it's almost like find resources and people that can support you and help you when you need it, but also trust yourself, listen to your heart, go inside your body. So much of what's come through to me has been coming through to me first and then been confirmed by talking to or learning from other people. So I'm really glad you emphasized the importance of really trusting yourself and what will come through to support you, for sure.
Oh, well, you are so welcome, because I have found the answers there, and my horses have told me that too. Just go within. That's where the answers lie, and it's so true. Just trust what you're hearing from within, because so many times we don't want to listen to that small little voice, and to me, that's what's coming from your heart and from within, and it doesn't yell like the rest of the world is yelling.
Exactly. You have to actually be quiet and spend time to be able to start even noticing that your heart's talking to you. And I also love that you mentioned like what your horses say, or because that's another thing. Our egos and our minds, they're amazing. I mean, thank goodness we have our brains and our minds. This is not at all a bashing session on that. It's more of like we kind of promote our brains and our minds to like the golden child, and then like shun our little heart as like the little, like, just be quiet in the corner. So it's about bringing balance, between the two. And I would say, along with what you were saying, if you're having trouble, if you're like, what do you even mean? Listen to my heart, I don't even know what that means. What you were saying with being with animals in nature is actually the way to go, because there's such purity there. So even just starting by spending time in nature, listening, spending time with your animal friends and seeing what might come through when you're with them, whether it's coming through from them or because you're in the presence of nature or animals, what comes through to you just being in their presence. But I think that's really beautiful to bring that up as well. Thank you for that.
Oh, you are so welcome. You're so welcome. The other thought that comes to mind is just listen in the silence. If you're out in nature, just listen. Listen to the trees and listen. Feel the breeze on your face and just listen and just quiet your mind and just listen in the silence. That was another one that came from my horses, and I'm like, oh my, how beautiful that is.
How wise. Yes. More listening, well, indeed.
Yes, definitely. Well, Ellie, this show has gone so quickly. I have so loved chatting with you about this. We could chat for hours on all the different aspects and ways to share with our listeners about all of this. It is incredible. And I, just to reaffirm so everybody knows, please share again the best ways to connect with you, so if they didn't quite catch it in our middle of our show, that they can catch it here at the end on the best ways to connect.
Absolutely. So I'm most active on Instagram, at Power and Pleasure, and spelled out AND, so at Power and Pleasure. There's a link in my bio there to about me, just to learn a little bit more about me, and to Beyond Coaching, which is the free community that offering coaching to everyone, all these programs. And then if Instagram's not your thing, I totally get it. Just shoot me an email at Elizabeth J. Chavez 30. So Elizabeth with a Z, J as in Jane, and then Chavez, CHAVEZ 30 at gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you, answer any questions. I'm really bad at doing sales and marketing, so don't worry. I'm not going to try to pull you into selling you anything. Happy to just chat. There you go.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I would also like to ask if you would please be my guest again on Robust Lifestyles and share more about your coaching and how all of the Beyond coaching is taking off. And just, you're so full of knowledge on all of that. I would just love to have you share more with our listeners at a later date.
Yeah, I'd love that. Maybe we even plan something where I can do like a little mini taste of some coaching, just a couple of the techniques. That could be a kind of unique way to do it. So, that sounds great.
Oh, I love that. Yes, we will definitely schedule that. Well, thank you so much, Ellie, for being my guest. And you will definitely be my guest again on Robust Lifestyles to share some more. So
thank you again. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, and you have a magical day and a magical time ahead.
You too.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this amazing show with our incredible diva, Ellie Chavez. Please share this show with all your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember that the answers lie within. Just go within and just listen in that silence to the birds and the nature out there, and just hear them and just feel that energy come into you from all of it, and connecting to your heart energy, how beautiful that is, and how your heart sends so many messages to your brain. So I would like to wish each and every one of you a very magical, magical day. Remember, be kind to all. Give your animals a great big hug and share your love with them until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles. Stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.